Rye Playland is a classic amusement park just outside of New York City. This place has been around for nearly a century, and it still has some unique and historic attractions. This includes a classic wooden roller coaster, old dark rides, and some rare flats. But the park also has supplemented these older rides with some modern attractions, including a lot that were overhauled in recent years. This has given them a well-rounded lineup. So in this video, I will count down the top 15 rides at Rye Playland. I also want to note my last visit took place in 2021. Since that visit, the park has removed quite a few rides and started to replace them with new ones. One of the new flats looks to be a modern successor to Kennywood's Kangaroo, which is one of my favorite flats, so I'll need to get back to try this another day. But since I haven't been on these new flats, those new rides will not be included on the list, but the defunct rides I did ride previously will be featured as honorable mentions. Starting off the list at number 15 is Yo-Yo. This is your average chance swing ride. I prefer the wave swinger rides in general, but this one still offers a nice breeze. Number 14, Zombie Castle. This is a carnival quality dark ride. You have some loud sounds, but the scares are pretty darn predictable, and the figures don't look the best. It is longer than you'd expect though, and there's some interesting audio towards the end. Up next would have been the Flying Witch. This was recently removed and can now be found at Niagara Amusement Park. I always found this a tad better than Zombie Castle. The overall quality and scope is similar, but you linger on each scene a bit longer so you have more time to process what's going on. Number 13, Ye Olde Mill. This is a classic dark ride. While I appreciate this ride's rich history, the pacing is pretty weak by today's standards. This ride was meant to serve as a tunnel of love of sorts, so you have these long and slow crawls through near total darkness. I do like the few show scenes when they occur, but you have very long gaps in between them. Number 12, Music Express. This Wisdom Himalaya has decent speed, so you get sustained lateral start to finish. This one isn't fast enough to offer any airtime on the humps, but it does go both forwards and backwards. Number 11, Dragonator. This Zamperla disco offers two fun sensations. You get decent centripetal force in the spinning, and some faint weightlessness as you rock up the spikes. Up next would have been the Wipeout. This was a solid chance Wipeout. It may have only given a weak pop of airtime or two, but the ride's biggest strength were the crushing laterals. They came on especially heavy towards the end when the wheel lowered back down. Number 10, Playland Plunge. This is a slightly smaller than usual Hopkins Shoot the Chutes, but it's still fun. You get a good view of the water, followed by a zippy plunge. Then the boats still produce a massive and soaking splash perfect for a hot summer's day. Number 9, Crazy Mouse. This Zamperla Wild Mouse has a first half chock full of intense laterals. You really get slammed side to side. Then the drops in the second half are considerably shallower than mice from other manufacturers though, so you're not going to get the airtime pops you may be accustomed to. Number 8, the Whip. This is the best whip I've encountered. This one runs much faster, so the turns are a bit violent, and I like that. Your vehicles really slam side to side as you go around each turn. Number 7, Starship 2000. This is a Wisdom Gravitron. It offers very strong and sustained Gs that press you against the pad. Then you lift off the ground into the air later in the ride. I prefer the older style rotors because the forces and visuals are superior, but this is still a very dizzying experience. Number 6, the Bumper Cars. This is a well above average set of dodgems. You have a big arena with lots of cars, so there are plenty of collision opportunities. The cars have decent speed and power to them. The one thing that's a bit weird is the arena is sort of slick, so you can skid around the corners if you take them too sharply. Number 5, Superflight. This is a much maligned Zamperla Volare. Most coaster enthusiasts find these compact flying coasters full of headbanging, but I've honestly never had an issue, so I actually enjoy them. The ride is still pretty janky, no denying that, but the turns pull solid Gs. Then the best part is the two inversions. You get some downright scary hang time as you feel your back lift a few inches off the vehicle as you invert. Number 4, the Dragon Coaster. This Pryor and Church wood coaster is the park's most popular attraction. Despite being over 90 years old, it is a very smooth coaster. It is also a surprisingly long ride and you have that iconic Dragon Tunnel too. Unfortunately, the ride is pretty light in the forces though. The first drop is a good pop of airtime in back, and then one turnaround gets airtime up front. But that's it for negative Gs. I have an entire review going into more detail, but while this isn't going to be a favorite for most coaster enthusiasts, you have to appreciate this ride's history. Number 3. The Derby Racer. This is a high-speed carousel from Pryor and Church. It is surreal riding an attraction with absolutely no restraints in this day and age. If you let go, you could fall off and get seriously hurt. I love the sustained laterals as you spin around in circles. Meanwhile, the employees hop on and off the platform in an impressive display of coordination. Up next would have been the Mine Scrambler. This was a really cool indoor scrambler. It had a fairly fast operating speed and a long cycle too. The speed was enhanced by strobes, mist, and mirrors, and the whole ride had a party-like atmosphere with the booming music. I have a whole video about how much better a flat ride can be when it's placed indoors, but I really wish more parks did this, and it's a shame this one had to be removed after an accident. Number 2. Double Shot. This is a fun S&S launch tower. While it is just 8 stories tall and has a limited view, both ascents have very strong pops of ejector airtime. It's better airtime than a lot of the larger S&S space shots. It's the best ride in the park if you want negative Gs. Up next would have been Skyflyer. This was an inverting pendulum. You inverted rather slowly, and combined with the relatively loose restraints, you got some fantastic hang time over the top. I was hanging on my seat for a few seconds with each pass. Then the pullout contrasted that with solid positive Gs. This one had a long cycle too, so it's a shame it was removed. And coming in number 1 is Log Flume. This is a nice Hopkins log flume. The course has some mist-filled tunnels, and then you have 2 solid drops. The second gives a faint pop of airtime. Then you get a refreshing splash to cool you off. Now, there is one defunct ride that would have placed higher, and that would be Power Surge. I don't have any footage of the one that used to run at Playland, so I'm showing versions I've ridden elsewhere. I love these flat rides from Zamperla. When I experienced the one that used to run at Playland, the spinning base was not functioning. That being said, the other axis of motion was more than enough to offer a disorienting experience, jam-packed with inversions. I got nice hang time as the ride inverted over the top, followed by abrupt twists on the pullout as the vehicle rocked side to side. So those are the top 15 rides at Rye Playland that I've experienced throughout the years. While the park definitely could use a standout coaster, the park has plenty of notable non-coasters to make it worth your while. What are your favorite attractions at this historic park? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this countdown, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.